tuned into this video, you are in the right place. Today I'm going to be talking about reinventing yourself and renewing yourself and rebuilding relationships, reinventing relationships in your circle. So let me start off with a story. There was a guy and he had a friend named Larry, okay? And the guy said, you know what, Larry? That was his friend, wasn't his best friend. But he said, I want to buy a bike and I want to go through terrains. I want to go uphill. You know, I want to do it just to stay in shape and everything, you know. And I'm going to enter this competition riding my bike up hills. And this competition, you only go against one other person. So they do it in sets, you know, and you only have to worry about beating that one person. So he took Larry with him to get a bike. He got a red bike. It was nice. And then they had a discussion about what he should do when he goes up a hill, because he really didn't know much about biking. But, you know, he valued Larry's opinion because Larry used to be a biker. Okay? The problem with Larry is that it was his friend, but he never would say that he was his best friend. And they talked quite often, but it seemed like every time, you know, the bike rider had an issue, Larry didn't really try to help him out too much. He helped him out from afar, you know, just enough to say they were friends. And then, whenever he did something, the bike rider did something awesome or great, or got a new job, or got a new house, or something new, Larry never clapped for him. He would say, that's nice. You know, but you could see the jealousy in Larry. And the bike rider knew this, but he didn't think it did him any harm. So he asked Larry, he said, you know, I value your opinion, and you've done some bike riding in the past. So what should I do if I go up a hill? You know, it's going to be tough, I know, riding a bike up a hill. I've done it before, but I didn't have a professional opinion. What should I do to make it easier, right? So he asked Larry, and Larry gave him an answer. Okay? Now, there's two racers. There's a guy on the blue bike as well. The guy on the blue bike actually went to a bike rider specialist, someone he didn't really know, but he saw his background. He had won many races and everything, you know, and he told him what to do when he went up a hill. So they started off on the race. And the guy on the red bike, he was beating the guy on the blue bike. And then they got to the hill. And the guy on the blue bike, he changed his gears. And he switched them to the big gear. Which, if you ride bikes, you know that's going to get you up the hill with less effort. Okay? Now, the guy on the red bike, he just left his in the same gear that he had it on when he was on the plain road where it was flat. Okay? So he figured that was the best thing to do, but when he was going up the hill, he just churned the pedals, and he wasn't getting up the hill fast enough. So the guy on the blue bike got to the top of the hill, ended up winning the race. The guy on the red bike was basically just spinning his wheels, couldn't really get up the hill well, and he didn't want to change his gears. He was scared because he had never practiced switching the gears to a different gear, which would be the bigger gear, okay? He was used to just riding a regular bike, and his friend Larry told him, you know, just keep it where it's at, and you'll go up the hill fine. People do it all the time, you know. And so when they got to the end of the race, the guy on the blue bike asked the guy on the red bike, he said, why didn't you switch gears? Why didn't you go to the bigger gear so they can help you up the hill? You just struggled. I mean, you were ahead of me, but you struggled when we got to the hill. And so the guy on the red bike said, you know what? Now that I remember, my friend Larry told me not to put it in the big gear, which would have helped me get up the hill faster. So, you see, there's two things to learn from this situation. The number one thing you should learn is that sometimes you have to change. You have to change gears. You have to switch gears to get into something bigger and better to win the race. You have to switch gears. You have to be able to do something different. You have to be able to change your life. The second thing that you should learn from this story is be careful of your circle and the people that you take advice from and who you deal with, because they may not have your best interest in mind, or although they may call you a friend. Enemies and friends can look very similar at times, okay? So you have to be careful, because when you get things, when you succeed, some of your circle can't go with you. Some of them can't go where you're going because they don't believe in you, because they would never motivate you, and they will pull you back. Larry knew about switching into other higher, bigger gears to get up the hill. He knew that because he was a bike rider. But he chose to tell the red bike rider, just leave it where you're at. You're fine. You'll be good. He was a little jealous that he was trying to do a bike race like him when he should have been happy for his friend. And he should have been there cheering him on, telling him to go to use the bigger gears on a bike. And one other thing I want to say about this is that, in life, we think that it's going to be easy and it's never going to be uphill. But sometimes it is uphill, and you got to know how to change your gears. You got to know how to reinvent yourself to make it through life and to be successful. Okay, so that's my story. My name is Lonnie of Lonnie & Co., if you didn't know. And you can always reach me at LonnieHadden@Outlook.com. I'll give that information at the end of the video. But today, I just want to let you know that we're going to be talking about reinventing yourself and your circle. And let's talk about the definition of reinventing. We're going to take the base word reinvent. What does reinvent mean? Reinvent means changing something so much that it appears to be new. Okay? So when we actually listen to people sometimes that actually value us as much as we value them, then it can help us if we take that constructive criticism and change. And so I'm going to talk to you today about reinventing yourself. And after the end of this video, you're going to feel renewed. You're going to feel like you reinvented yourself, and you're going to be on your way to bigger and better things, okay? So the first thing you want to do when you're reinventing yourself is you want to do a self-evaluation and think about what problems you have. What happened in your life that you had an effect on, okay? Because we always blame everything. If you didn't win the race, it was the terrain. The guy on the red bike, he could have said, the hill was just too hard to climb for me. I didn't have the same bike as the blue bike rider. But he looked at it and said, I was wrong. I listened to my friend. I didn't do any research on it. I just listened to him tell me stay in the same gear going up the hill, and it didn't make sense. I turned my wheels, and when you put the blame on yourself, then you don't do things like go back to that same friend and ask for advice, or you start to see who is real. Like, what did you do to cause a problem? Because we can blame everyone on the job. You can blame your coworkers. You can blame your boss. You can blame, blame it on the rain, as they say. But when you internalize it and say, yeah, there may have been some type of things that were that I had no effect on, like I couldn't change. They were out of my control. Okay, we have situations where things are out of our control. But if you start to look within yourself and say, this is what I did. Like if you're getting a divorce, and the other person cheats or something, it's the first notion is you get is, oh, I'm leaving you. And people leave so much. The divorce rate is 50%. We have to do something different, because when I talk to older couples that have been together for 50 years, 25 years, they said they got through the hard times. Even though one person may have cheated, they said, okay, you cheated. What happened? What broke in the relationship to cause you to cheat? And I'm not saying you should blame yourself for someone else cheating. They shouldn't cheat at any rate. For whatever you do, they shouldn't cheat. They should wait till the relationship is over to date other people. But if you want to keep that relationship going, you have to say, okay, let's reinvent ourselves. What did we do wrong? You have to find out, what did you do wrong, and blame yourself. Why would this person want to pull away from me after 11 years or after 5 years or 2 years? What did you do? Can you apologize for what you did? Can they apologize for what they did, so that you can get the relationship back on the right track? Because I'm telling you, the people that stay married for many years, they make mistakes. People are imperfect, and you are imperfect, and I'm not bringing you down. It's good to know your strengths and your weaknesses, and know that there's some things that you have to work on. It's part of reinventing yourself and doing a self-evaluation and saying, hey, you know what? I nag too much. When my mate's just going to the store, I have to make sure he's back in the exact amount of time it takes to go to the store and come back. As the young lady on Why Did I Get Married said, I'm clocking his mileage, and everything. We get that way, and then you can push a person away. And so you got to be careful and communicate with your mate. You have to communicate with your friends. And in any situation, look at what you did, because you can solve that problem. You can't solve the problem if you blame it on the environment and everybody else, and they did this to me, and they did that, and they did this. What did you do to cause the trauma in your life so you can fix it? You can't fix it if it's something that's out of your control. The only thing you can fix is you. So when we point to ourselves and say, this is what I'm going to do different next time. I'm going to forgive myself, and I'm going to do this different next time, and I'm going to succeed, and I'm going to come out of this rut, and I'm going to do it right next time. I'm not going to hit this wall again, blaming it on someone else. So you can make change. Now that you blame yourself, you can make change. You can change your situation. You can come out from the bottom. You can get back on top, because now you know how, because you changed yourself. You change what was in you. When you're on a bike in a terrain, you can't change that terrain. The terrain is going to be the same way it always was when they created it, unless they change it up a little bit. But for the most part, the hill is going to be a hill. A bump is going to be a bump. A rock is going to be a rock. And you have to know how to change the way you drive the bike or ride the bike in order to be successful on that bike ride and get up the hill and handle all the obstacles. Okay? So try to blame yourself sometimes. Now, I understand if the person is really at fault, then you have to communicate with them and tell them. But first, see what you did first, so you're not blaming someone and accusing someone of something that they really did not do. They were always that way. Like on the job, a lot of times people have done the processes the way they've done the processes all along, and they're not going to want to change because you come in and say, change this or change that. Typically, they've been doing this all along, and it's been working. So you have to go with what your boss says on how to do things, and then change yourself to be able to adapt to what's okay, what's been working. Now, I'm not saying you can't be a game changer, but you have to be given permission to change the game sometimes, or it could cause a bad effect on your co-workers and boss and the whole organization. They may not like that you come in with these new ideas. You have to be given permission to use those ideas. Okay? All right. So blame yourself sometimes. The second thing is get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone. Sometimes we get so comfortable with life that we don't want to face our fears, okay? So you have to start facing your fears, and you have to know your competition. In any situation, know who you're competing against at whatever you're doing, and so you know how to do well. And don't really focus on them. Just because you know your competition does not mean that you tear them down and break them down. Office politics is not the way up. The way to handle situations is to do good yourself, know how you need to do your job, be the best at it, be early, stay late, just be the best, do better than, do your best every day, put your best foot forward every day. And you have to just basically stop getting in the routine of things of just, if you wake up in the morning and you just go to work, and then you come home, you cook dinner, and you go to bed. That's a routine that is not going to lead you to success. You have to think about, what can I do better on my job? You want to leave your worries at work, of course, but if you have goals and you want to do better on the job, you may have to do some research when you get home. Or, you know what, if you feel like you need to work out, then you need to fit that in your schedule. You know, maybe go look at some art. Do something different that would do something like learn your craft. If you want to be something or do something, you know, more extraordinary one day, or if you want to do it as a hobby on the side, then make sure that you're doing that when you get home. Change your routine a little bit. We get so caught up in just doing the same thing. Like I said, with a company, they're used to doing the same thing. And all you can do is, one, listen to your boss. Do what your boss says, right? You don't buck with your boss. You don't ridicule your boss. You don't talk about your boss. You know, you follow direction. And secondly, you actually have to make sure that you're not gossiping, because if you get in a group of people that are negative and they're always gossiping, then they're gonna say, oh, well, Lonnie said this, Lonnie said that. But if you don't get involved in the gossip, then nobody can ever say you said anything. So when someone starts to pick on you at school or pick on you at work and start talking, just turn around and do your work. Ignore it, because they get pleasure out of seeing you upset. If you have a friend, a family member that's always ridiculing you, always saying something about you and being negative, then you need to ignore that person, go the other direction, and give them some space for a while. I'm not saying you have to just leave and don't look back if it's a family member, but for those friends that are not really your friends, that look real close to enemies, like they say, with friends like you, I don't need enemies, you know? So if they're just not supportive, then you have to leave that person alone, or it's going to bring you down. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you have to shock your routine. Okay, so you're used to drinking pop every day. My thing is diet pop. I got into diet pop, and I stopped drinking diet pop. I was drinking a gallon of water a day and being vegetarian. Lost 40 pounds. I went from a size 24 pant size to a 16. Today, I finally put on my size 16 pants, right? I kept them because I'm like, I'm going to get back in these pants, you know. So anyhow, you have to make sure that you are changing your routine and doing something different to go to the next level or be better, and just shock your routine. If you're used to drinking that diet pop, you're going to have to drink water, because the diet pop will make your belly big, actually, and drinking diet pop can kill your kidneys if it has aspartame in it. And I'm not going to talk about any particular pop company, but it's just much better to drink water, because our bodies are made of, I believe, 75% water, something like that. So between 50 and 75% water. So you have to put that water back in your system, you know. So you just need to do that, okay? So get out of the routine thing. Do something different. Do something amazing and change up your life, okay? So that's part of getting out of your comfort zone. Now, thirdly, we need to set goals on a regular basis, okay? So setting goals is not just saying, okay, in 5 years I want to do this, but actually having a plan and saying, okay, in 10 years I want to be doing this, in 5 years I want to be doing this. So that means that this week I have to do A, B, and C. If you want to lose weight, okay, well, this week I got to lose 2 pounds. So I'm going to eat right, and then I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week to start out, and pick those days and think of any obstacles. Then you have to think of obstacles and say, okay, what could stop me from working out 3 days a week? Oh, you have to cook, or you have some events you have to do. Put it on your schedule and an alarm on your phone for you to commit to work out on those days. And if you can't make it to the gym, you know, because we have times where maybe our gym is, for me, my gym is far away right now, and I can't switch to the other gym for a couple months. because I just switched to that gym. So then my plan for my obstacle is working out at home, going for a walk and doing 50 sit-ups or whatever, so you have to stick to your goals. You have to commit to something, right? And that's part of changing yourself, is being committed to your goals, right? You make your daily goals. So that's the goal for the week, to, make sure that you lose 2 pounds and make sure you work out 3 times a week. But daily, you need to make sure that you're eating right. So I wake up, I can't be upset about how big I was in the past, or how big I may be in the future, or if the weight will come back, or will I not lose the weight. Because if you think too much about the past, you get depression. And if you think too much about the future, you get anxiety. So seize the day. Do what you can do today to make a change, and make sure you do it to meet your goals. Okay? No excuses. Have a plan for those obstacles. All right. The fourth thing is change your perception. Change your perception about things. When you think negatively, negative things will happen. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? When we think that something's going to go wrong, like people say, I'm broke, or I don't have anything, and oh my goodness, but if you keep, thinking that, rather than saying, you know what, I am rich because I'm a loving person, and I make myself look nice. I get up, I take my shower, I dress myself, I keep my place nice. And these are the wonderful things. And I love my family. I love hard. I'm a great worker. I'm a hard worker. I'm dependable. And, start saying at least 3 things positive in the mirror every day. If nobody else will clap for you, clap for yourself. Okay? Because most people, I say 80% of people are not going to be happy for you. They're not going to try to help you or motivate you to do anything better, because they're working on themselves, and you need to be working on yourself too, instead of gossiping, right? If you stop gossiping and playing people at work or school, or bullying people, if you stop worrying about what they're doing, you stop worrying about competition, and stop being scared of your competition, and focus on what you're doing, and make yourself the best self, okay? The best self you can be, the best person you can be. Be your best self. Be your best you. Be amazing in your eyes. And if you're amazing in your eyes, other people will start to see it, okay? Don't do what everybody else is doing. When you start looking at your competition, you may bring yourself down, okay? So you have to change your perception. Right now, you're sitting there thinking, I don't want to go to the next level. I don't want to try this. I don't want to be the best at basketball, because I'm not. I just, they only pull me out on certain games, and you just think that you'll never be the best basketball player. But if you say, you know what, I'm going to be the best basketball player, I'm going to practice an hour or 2 hours a day. When practice is over, I'm going to weight train, whatever. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to meet this goal, or I'm going to take classes so that I can learn my craft, or whatever the situation may be. You make sure that you focus on yourself and stop being scared of the competition, okay? And I think I heard Les Brown say, reach for the moon. And I always say this, but I didn't know that Les Brown said that. And I listened to Les Brown all the time. Back in, I believe, 2003, I would listen to Les Brown's tapes. Even before that, I would listen to Les Brown and all his tapes and videos and things, and I admire the things that he says, because it's different. And he always said, reach for the moon and you'll at least land upon a star. And when I went to college, I could have went to a local college, I could have went to the Army, and I said, you know what, I'm going to reach for the moon. I'm going to go to a Big Ten university. So I graduated from Michigan State University. Go Spartans. Thank you. But I reached for the moon, and I thought about college. I was like, I don't know if I can get into college. I'm, African American female. I don't have a 4.0. I was an honor student, but I was like, there's other kids that are valedictorian, salutatorian, but I did it anyways. I didn't let any of that stuff stop me. I went for it. I reached for the moon, and I at least landed upon a star, because I've been in purchasing for 18 years, and I've gotten into marketing, doing marketing now, and my videos is my hobby, and I love it, just to be able to help. If I just help one person, then I've done my job, So it's not about how much money I can make, doing it, but it's not about getting so many views. But if I just help one person, and I urge you to even forward this video if it's going to help somebody else. You don't be jealous and not forward it to the people that need it. Actually, forward it to the people that you think would benefit from it, or that you love and care about, and make sure that they learn something today too. Don't hold all the knowledge. Don't hold the knowledge to yourself. Somebody needs this, okay? So anyway, you have to change your perception. See the glass is half full instead of half empty. If you keep saying, oh, my glass is half filled up, but I feel like it's empty, I don't have much water, think of it being full. And everybody has heard of that saying, but I think it's very necessary. So you want to do all those things to change your perception. Stop thinking that you will never amount to anything. Think, I can achieve. I can believe in myself. And watch my Believe in Yourself video. You gotta talk to yourself and motivate yourself. Okay, now don't start answering back. All right, and then we're gonna be worried about you. You start having arguments with yourself. All right, but definitely talk to yourself, motivate yourself. Into doing what you need to do and what you want to do. Right. So the fifth thing is to watch your words. There is power in the tongue. I know people say that God, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, they darn do hurt. So you can make a person want to hurt themselves, kill themselves. You can make a person, just for laughing at their what they did on YouTube or whatever, and spreading it and making it go viral. That person could be very hurt. So you have to be careful of what you indulge in. Okay, be careful what you do to hurt people, and watch what you say. They say you can say anything, but it's the way you say it. You want to be constructive. And what we've always done at college is the compliment sandwich. You compliment someone and say, thank you, you're great at this. And then you say what you need or what they need to change. And then you complete it with another compliment. And that's like when you write letters, you can do it like that as well. Instead of being argumentative and just saying that a person is bad or they're not doing well, compliment sandwich goes a long way, So try that. But there's power in the tongue, and you can kill your opportunities by talking or gossiping about people. You can kill your opportunities by arguing with people, cursing people out, people that you have to work with, people that you have to go to school with, and just because something rubs you the wrong way and you get mad and storm out or call them a name, it's only going to affect you. Because when you think about it, you may be burning a bridge that you may need to cross one day. And I certainly don't want people to think that I am a mean person. And sometimes God will put you through situations and you will go through turmoil, because when you get to the next level in your life where you're doing amazing things, if you curse somebody out, it could be in the tabloids. If you become a celebrity or something and you curse somebody out or you break something, they could come back after you, and it could, and people, like I always say, they never remember what they said or did to you. They only remember what you did to them. So be careful how you use your tongue. Be careful because the music on the radio tends to have all this different language, and it comes and it gets in your spirit and you end up talking like that. Be careful not to cross over into that mindset where it's okay to call someone out their name and call it a term of endearment. Okay? And I'm not going to get into any politics or whatever. I'm not here for that. I'm here to motivate you, and I want you to just listen to yourself. If you see that you're getting an argument with someone, take your recorder. Everybody's got their phone on them, you get your recorder out and record it. When you're actually speaking to someone, how does it sound the way you communicate with them? And if it sounds good, if you wouldn't mind saying it to yourself, then you can speak like that. But if you actually listen to the tape and see how hurtful you were to that person, if this is a person you usually have a disagreement with, like with your mate or something, then record it. Just record it. You say, can I record this? Ask them if you can record this conversation so you can understand how you sound when you talk or communicate, if you want to improve on that. So the sixth and last thing that I want to talk about is checking your circle and reinventing your relationships. I kind of talked about this previously throughout this video just to get up to this point. When you're in reinventing yourself, you have to reinvent your circle too. You have to renew your circle, because sometimes you get people that don't want the best for you and they can pull you down. Actually, I have had people close to me, family members, friends, turn their back on me in times of turmoil. And the friends that you really need to have around you in your circle are the ones that are there when you have absolutely nothing. When you have absolutely nothing, when you're down, and because everybody goes through something bad. I mean, people think like nothing bad will ever happen to me. But it's just like a bike. The pedals go up and down, right? Up and down. That's life. That's why they call it the circle of life. Because, of course, you have the, animal chain and everything, of course, the food chain or whatever. But life is cyclical, it's, sometimes the pedals are up, sometimes the pedals are down. But you have to go through that downturn, and you have to have the upturns and the downturns so that the bike can keep moving forward, so you can keep moving forward. Because when we get into hard, bad situations, then we learn something from it. That's just life. God promised us trials and tribulations, but He would not give us more than we can bear. And that's in the Bible. And I'm not talking religion today, because I know there may be a lot of people from different religions. I'm not saying you have to follow my religion. I'm not even going to say what religion I am. But I think there are good quotes from the Bible that we can live by, or the Quran, or whatever book you use to, to learn about spirituality. Okay, but that's one of the most a wonderful Bible verses that helps me when I go through trials and tribulations, to know God promised us this. He said it's life. Nobody's exempt from problems and issues. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much money you don't have, we just have different problems. Okay, people with a lot of money, they still face mental issues. They still face even drug issues, and people without as much money can face drug issues and mental issues too. So when you go through certain things like that, or if you have a nervous breakdown, just know that many other people have done that. Some of the greatest people have had breakdowns. Some of the greatest CEOs, you always hear about, a CEO having chest pains and things like that, or, but when it comes to ourselves, we like to say, why did it happen to me? God didn't do that to you. It's a part of life, and there's certain things that you need to start blaming yourself for and saying, okay, how can I live a healthier life? And maybe if your job is too stressful, how can I live in my purpose and do something I love rather than to do something that's going to stress me out and give me a heart attack? Or if you can do the job and just not get so worried and worked up about it. Find a way that's okay with your boss for you to meet your goals without being so stressed out and stressed, right? Okay, so that's all I really want to talk about today. I want you to just go out and not be jealous. When you're jealous of people, it only hurts you. Because if the man across the street from me has a mansion, gosh darn it, I want to go over there and talk to him and be friends with him and learn how I can get my mansion too, right? So you got to have people that have more than you. And you need to start talking to those people and grab a mentor that's above your level, at your level or above. Because when you keep dealing with people that don't understand why you're seeking something better, then it ruins you. They just bring you down, and they will come after you. Sometimes they will try to make you lose your house and lose your car, lose your family, or whatever. And it's not anything that sometimes it's not something that they're actually intentionally trying to do, but because they're so jealous, every time they have an opportunity to pull you back, they will do it. So you know what you can do is test it out. Actually go to that person and say, hey, you got something great. You achieved something wonderful. And see if they try to outshine you. See if they say something negative rather than positive, or they don't clap at all. They act like, you never said anything, or they say, you know what, you can't handle it. I don't know why you got yourself into that situation. Because if someone tells me I can't do something or I can't achieve something, well, they better give me a good reason why. Okay, so because I don't really worry about what people think about me. I worry about what I think about myself. That's what matters, because only you know what you're capable of, because that's in here. And if you know you built yourself up and you have enough self-esteem, and you read a lot, or you practice your whatever you're working on a lot, you practice your job or your craft, you practice it a lot, and you know it down to the T, and you're the best of it at it, then in your eyes, you do the best job you can, and you achieve your goals, not comparing to anybody else and saying, well, I'm the best because I'm better than person A, B, and C. No, but are you meeting your goals? Are you meeting the objectives for your boss? Are you being a best friend? Are you being a good sister or a brother? Are you being a good mother or father? Are you being a good son or daughter? What are you doing? Are you helping anybody today? Did you help anybody with what you've done today so you can feel fulfilled? That's what matters. Alright, so this video, in conclusion, is just reinvent yourself. Sometimes we get so stuck in our routines. We need to change our perception. We need to blame ourselves so that we can fix it, because if you blame everyone else, you're not going to be able to fix it. But if you look at yourself and say, I can change things, I'm going to do things different, I'm going to go to the next level, I'm going to be early to work, I'm going to be the last one to leave, I'm going to learn more about what I'm doing, I'm going to learn where I want to be, what's going to make me happy, I'm going to do what I need to do today to seize the day and not worry so much about the future and get anxiety. I don't want anxiety. I don't want to worry too much about the past to create depression. Okay? And if you're stuck thinking about that one boyfriend or girlfriend that you think you lost and you'll never find anyone like that again, think again. Just reinvent yourself and say, you know what, in that relationship, maybe I didn't dress up enough. Maybe I didn't cook the right foods. Maybe I was argumentative. Maybe I lost that job because I just wasn't into it, and I need to change my thoughts about that because that's my bread and butter. I need to go in and give her 100%. If I'm having a bad day or a good day, when I go to work, it's about work. And when I come home, it's about being home with your family and doing something that you want to do. And just think about how you can change your life and reinvent yourself. What is your purpose in life? We talk about purpose all the time, but what would you do that would make you happy, make a difference in the world, and that people would actually pay for you to do it because you're that good at it? Think about it, all right? So, all right, my name is Lonnie of Lonnie & Co. And you can reach me at LonnieHadden@Outlook.com if you want to book me for a speaking event. And I will leave the information on this video. All right, thank you, everyone. And remember, attitude is everything.